Hello, everyone. Hope all is well. And you might be guessing where I am. I'm not in some exotic island. It's in Knightsbridge. I was running late on my viewing, which I finished, and I thought I had this live with Zul, CEO, regarding the real estate market in Cleveland and New Jersey. So this is what we are going to talk about today.
Hey bro, how you doing?
Good, and yourself?
Yeah, doing good, thank you.
I'm not in some exotic island, huh? It's
You
just
s-
in on the back. I'm on a square right now. I was showing properties around, and it
uh,
was like if I drove to the office, I might get late for it. So I thought I'll just stop here and do this live. That's a good
yeah,
background to have.
yeah, it's good. It's nice. You got some nice trees there and a bit nice. That's London for you, right?
Absolutely. But thank you so much, Zul, to come on here, accepting my invite. The whole
No.
reason I do this is to share knowledge and positive energy. We're going through a lot of negative sentiment right now. The market, people in lockdown, people going losing their jobs, businesses going bust. And this is the whole reason of doing this, right? To share what we've learned in our careers. Someone might pick that up and start a whole new career, and it just may be good for them. So thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome, man. I'm good to. It's nice to be here, man.
Before we start the conversation, if you can introduce yourself as to who you are and what you do, and then we can move forward with the conversation.
Yeah, sure. So basically, your name is Zul, and I specialize in off-market real estate, in particular, focus in the US. But I've been in real estate for like getting on to 20 years now. So
Wow.
been through a lot of different markets and different countries,
Yep.
and yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell.
um, so when you started, I mean, 20 years is a long, long time. I've been in this industry for 12 years now. So 20 years, wow, 2 decades. But like before you started and you got into the property sector, as a kid, as a young boy, did you always think that you wanted to get into property? Property was your thing, or did you have other aspirations in mind, like be a lawyer, be an accountant, be a doctor,
You
all
see,
that kind of stuff?
yeah, it's a great question. I mean, where it started with me was I was into IT, and I graduated in IT. I was fixing computers and PCs, my first job out of college. And I was doing the networks, and then I was into investing. I was into reading about stocks, shares, thinking I'm really interested in this financial market. And I picked up a book. I have no idea who the book was by and who wrote it and what the name of the book was, but it had one chapter dedicated to real estate.
Okay.
And I remember reading this, and the real estate chapter just stuck out to me. And the writer, he dedicated this one chapter, and he said the most money he'd made was from real estate. And what he talked about was leverage. He said, look, use the bank's money, and 1% movement in the price of the property, and you can make leverage of a higher end price.
Of
So
course.
that stuck with me. And then he said in there that you need to be looking for 3-bedroom houses, single family homes. So I went out and thought I'm going to buy that, and I went out, bought my first one, 3-bed single family home.
And were you into this? Did you go out and buy this property while you were still working as an IT
Yeah,
tech?
yeah.
So you
So
were doing that. So what made you get into there? I mean, was it the fact? I mean, okay, you read the book, but was it the fact that um, you wanted to get passive income or a side income from the property,
to
or
me, yeah,
was
I
it
wanted
just
to see what this real estate game was about, and I wanted to invest my money because what was happening within 6 months, I was saving up money, and I didn't like money sitting in my account because I like it working for me. And I was even in my IT when I was doing that, I was building PCs on the side in the evening. So during the day, I was doing my 9 to 5, but in the evening, people were giving me orders to build PCs. So my money was going into like hardware, and I was like flipping these PCs and making money. So when I had like 10, 15K saved up in the bank account, I'm thinking I need to do something with this. So
yeah?
rather than it go onto a flashy car or something, I want to make it work. And so I went out and I bought this first property. And literally within 12, 18 months of owning this property, it appreciated by like 10, 15%. And that was equivalent to my salary in IT. So
Wow.
to me, that was a no-brainer. That was like, whoa, I need to get on the back of this real
That
estate.
was equivalent to the whole year's salary that you took on from IT. You made that within 18 months' time.
Exactly. So that was
Amazing.
crazy. That just taught me thinking, you need to focus on this real estate thing because this is, this is serious.
Yep.
And then from there, I just kind of met the right financial advisor. He got me into what they were calling buy-to-lets at the time.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
he says, oh, what we do is we refi you and we get your money out and let's go and buy some more. And that's it. I was hooked. I
I
was hooked.
mean, did you not think that, yes, fine, fair enough, you're going out and buying properties with the bank's money, but didn't you think of the risk factor in there? Did you just say no, it's free money, let's go for it?
No, no, I was definitely risk. Look, I look at the pros and cons of things, and I look at risk reward. And at that time, I was very aggressive, wanted a property empire, and I thought this is my shot, and refi, get the money out, buy more. And I was building, I very quickly was building a property empire. Looking back in hindsight, obviously I got hurt in 2008, right?
Yep, of course. Everyone got hurt.
Then,
I
yeah,
mean,
so
I was speaking to a property developer up in South Africa the other day, and he was also talking the same thing that 2008 was the killer
yeah.
for real estate, for mortgages, for everything. So I can totally understand how it must have been, especially being in the US.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so basically, then I was rethinking my whole strategy, thinking I don't really want to be on a treadmill owning the banks. It's nice, when you got tenants that are paying your mortgages and all this, but I didn't like all this leverage. I've been through situations where, I had commercial property and the bank has pulled the loan because they decide that, oh, all of a sudden we want to call in the loan and you got like 60 days to find the funds. I've been in those situations and I
wow.
didn't want to be in that position again. So after 2008,
Did you manage to get out of that situation?
yeah, luckily I got out of that position, but it just put me in that I don't want to be in the corner where the banks are calling the shots on me. And then since then, I've rebuilt in a more organic way. And, some people won't like the way I built, but I built on cash only now. I don't take any finance, don't owe anybody any money. And I just look for cheap and cheerful stock that I can pay out my own pocket. And I just want just nice cash flow. Now, I understand that I started in a different market. I had to take the bank's borrowing initially to get started.
Of
So I'm in a
course.
different position now. But now I advise people more towards go cheap and cheerful. Go for something small, get it paid off as soon as possible because you haven't got a bank leaning on you. And it's just nice. When you have a property free and clear, it puts you in a different position,
Of course. And
And
question I have for you is, how did you manage to clear all that debt that you'd accumulated over the years?
yeah,
And when
I,
did you decide to, yep, now it's just going to be my cash and I'm not taking anything from the bank anymore?
yeah, after 2008, we liquidated a lot of stock, a lot of property, cleared down, and I just ended up with
Was that in negative equity or no, you made some money out of it?
no, we made overall made, but then I walked away with my little cash, my little lump of cash, and I started afresh. I thought I don't want anyone's borrowing, and I started afresh, and I thought, right, what can I afford? And I could afford one. I went out, bought one, cash, started from there, and then I have this knack of finding deals. This is what I do day in day out. And then a lot of people come to me and say, hey, look, we're interested in buying. So then I only have a finite supply of funds that I can put on the table. So then I thought, well, there's no reason why I can't offer this to other investors and
Mm,
just make a small commission on the transaction. And that's what started to happen. People know me for finding deals. And obviously, I have to vet the deals and I only sell what I like. And because I've got a limited capacity, what I can buy, the good
yep,
deals,
yep,
to other investors. I say, look, I think this is a good deal. So if you like it, take it or leave it.
of
And then I
course.
make a small spread on it. And that kind of works for me. So, I'm kind of like the filter for the deals. So I'm not out there pushing stuff I don't believe in. I only, push what I like.
And when you go out to these investors, I mean, so now, when did you take the plunge in full that that's it, just real estate? So now you're basically a property investor, you're also a deal sourcer. When did you go out and decide that, okay, this is it, this is what I'm doing?
2002, I got involved in Dubai market. I was probably one of the first there, and I was buying on Jumeirah Beach residence for like $45,000 studios. So I was one of the first people there in line. I was selling Palm Jumeirah when it was like 10% premium.
No
Um,
way.
so basically, what happened was I put a small advert in the Sunday Times in London. That Sunday, my phone went off the hook. It just went ballistic. And that was the day that I switched off from IT, and I had a little IT company, and I switched off and I just set up my the property
So
business.
you completely went like, nope,
Yeah,
that's
because
it, we're going.
when you do a small advert of an inch size in the Sunday Times, and your phone, you've got like 80, 90 phone calls on that weekend, that just tells you need to go all in on this. And I just straight there, and I was on the next plane out to Dubai that weekend, and I was there just setting up contracts with all the developers, and that was the time that things really took off, you know. And since then, I've just become like, I guess, the
Deal
property guy,
sourcer,
deal sourcer.
property investor.
Yeah, and the time I got into Dubai was right at the beginning where the law wasn't even written in the books. It was a verbal decree. This is where the sheikh had just verbally gave it. So a lot of people were on the fence thinking, oh, he might change his mind. I might, I'm taking the risk. You know what I mean? And I
Of
bought other
course.
investors. So by the time everyone had caught on the law books and everything, we'd already been in the market for 5 years. We'd made our money and got out almost.
Yep.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? So
So you've been in the Dubai market, you've been in the UK market, you've been in the US market.
yeah, a few
Which
other.
real estate market is the best?
Look,
Or let's put it this way, which real estate market, I mean, you're still in the US market, but
yeah.
which real estate market over the years you've made your killer?
Let me answer it slightly differently. Look, the Dubai market in the beginning was really exciting, but it was the Wild West. You had to do business on a handshake, and the returns could be phenomenal. Palm Jumeirah, when I was selling that, it was going up by 1% a day. On a daily rate, you would make a phone call. Okay, who's got a two-bedroom flat off market? That's not built yet, and that was going up by 1% daily. So when you've got like a two-bedroom apartment at 120K when they started, going up by £1,000 every single day. So within a month, it's gone up 30K. That
Yeah.
was a hot market. So you could make quick money flipping. So that was exciting, but you also got stung. So you took the rough with the smooth. You got caught out on transactions because it was the Wild West,
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm one of those. I'm adventurous. I take risks. Um, Long term, I won, but you know, I have to look at it from my client's point of view. I don't want to put them in a position where they can lose money, and that's what
Of
I learned
course.
over the years. And what I really like, I like two markets in particular. I used to like the UK market because it's a very robust and safe buying procedure, which is my first and foremost. But I also the returns in the US just far outweigh the UK. I'm selling properties for $35,000 where people are getting 20% rental yield, right?
Woo!
You guys are getting in London 4 to 6%. I know London. I
Four
bought
to
in
six
London.
percent. 4 to 6%. It's like 3% out here right
Right,
now.
right. So this is the thing. I'm selling to my investors $35,000, and they're getting 20% rental yields. Now people think it's too good to be true. It is what it is, right? In 5 years, my properties pay themselves back. 5 years. I
And
cannot.
is that your strategy to get the 20% return, or that's the market norm of 20% returns in New Jersey?
Typical market norm in the areas that I've highlighted. Um, they're not war zone areas. They're not the best areas. They're not the worst areas. They're just average Joe Blogs, got a job, living hand to mouth, monthly basis, and that's the rent. So because the entry price is so low.
20%.
So you think about
Wow.
it. When I'm talking to an investor and he's talking about buying a buy to let in the UK, at 120K.
Mm.
Even HMOs are giving you max 10% in
Yep.
Leeds and
Yep.
Manchester.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm telling them, I'm saying, forget about that. Buy one of these because that's your deposit. Yeah, cash, no bank, no finance. 5 years, it's going to pay itself back. Where's the risk? Tell me. Even the rebuild cost is over $120,000 on the
You're taking
property.
clients away from us.
Well, look. The way I see it is that
Yeah.
look, people are a little bit blinkered in the UK because they think the UK is everything. But I really like the US buying procedure. It's very robust. Your money goes through escrow accounts. You know, it's as long as you follow the protocol, it's very hard to get stung. It's like the
I
UK.
mean, I mean the over doing these live sessions now for like 3 months. I've spoken to quite a few. I mean, I've never dreamt that I would speak to a US agent, you know. But over these live sessions, I've spoken to so many up in South Carolina, Chicago, Texas, Philadelphia. Yesterday, I had New York. So I can understand the market. The buying procedures are pretty much the same as the UK. It's the same way, but certain things can be different, in terms
Yeah,
of. But you've just smacked me in the face with that return, man. 20%.
bro. This is why
I mean, you even go to Scotland, you wouldn't get that.
look, I'm always looking for. Look, let me tell you, I've bought. I've bought in a lot of countries around the world. I've actually tested markets. I've even gone as far as I've sold property out in KL, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Wow.
I've tried. I've done Egypt. I've done Morocco. I've done Spain, and I've tested all these markets. Me physically, gone there, gone through the buying procedure because I'm always on the hunt for the best return. And I really researched the US market because I wanted the best for my money, And one of the critical things was I don't want to lose money and I don't want to anyone I introduce to lose money. And what I love about the US market is that they have a robust buying procedure. That's my number one thing. I don't want my client to send a deposit and it goes missing because I've had that in Dubai. We've been stung in Dubai and I don't do that you lose the flavor and I cannot
You don't
I
want people to lose the flavor. Of
100%
course.
guarantee that your money's safe. That's
Of
my
course.
first priority. And
Of
this is
course.
what I love about the US market in that you follow the rules, you stick with the procedure, and it's a very safe market. As long as you follow the protocol, it's a bit like the UK. So this is a key thing.
Buying wise, yes. Return wise, no.
The returns just phenomenal. I mean, you
I mean,
guys.
and these returns of 20%, are they sort of, they go across the states of the US, or no? It's
No,
like,
no, no, because the second you get into like New York, New Jersey, you're getting into London territory. People are still working at around 5, 6%.
so you will
Because
get that.
there people are more wrapped up in capital appreciation in
Yep,
markets like
yep,
that.
yep, yep.
So you have to go and find the particular markets, where you still got good pricing
Of
and
course,
good returns.
of
Yeah,
course.
so it does vary in different states.
And do you get clients from all over the world calling you up in terms of finding them the right deal in the US and getting them those returns? Do you source for just the US citizens or for all over the world?
No, all over the world. I've had people, from UK, Europe, and obviously US as well. I have a large client database, and so all over the world, pretty much. And that's the attractive thing about the US market as well. It appeals to the world
Of
because
course.
investors, they.
I mean, sometimes when you talk to people about the US market, they're like, "Whoa, UK is far enough as it is. You're telling me to cross the Atlantic and get into there." I mean, So how can one change their perception of, even though you can't get there, but it's the same system as it was if it were the UK?
Yeah, you see, what I do with my investors is I explain. I say it's nice having a buy-to-let portfolio in the UK, and I'm not telling you to. Um, sell your portfolio in the UK. If you've got half a dozen properties in the UK, I'm not telling you to sell all 5, 6 and put all your money in the US. What
Of
I'm
course,
telling you is why not go for one in the US? Have your 5 here, just go for one there because your $35,000 is probably going to be the deposit for a buy to let in the UK. You know what I mean? So instead of you
Totally.
taking finance out there, just pay one off and test it. And then what usually happens is 6 months later, when they've got the return and they see it works, they feel the appetite for it and they realize
Mm,
that they're actually being a bit of a mug over here now.
of course.
So it's, you know, I'm very slow. I'm like, just test the market. Don't go all in.
Yep.
Try a small little purchase. See how you feel. Get used to the buying procedure. And
Yep.
what I do for my investors is I give them the full package. You know, I help them with the renovation. I have a team on the ground.
Management, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So I make
Rentals.
it as streamlined as possible for them so that they're not having to scrap around and, you know, flights and everything's kind of taken care of for them.
Indeed. Um, how has the market shifted in these times since the past 3, 4 months? Have you seen like a slump or a freeze, or it's slow, or no, it's like going higher?
No, no. What I've found is there's been quite a bit of pent up demand from our side because I've got people in New Jersey asking me, "Come on, man, need a deal. I need a deal." And you know they've got so much appetite for buying. And the same with Cleveland. Cleveland's a hot market, and now what you're starting to find is people from like California, from Florida, they're starting to take an interest in markets like Cleveland because they're realizing that, hang on a minute, if I get 20%, you know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
It's almost like a recession-proof purchase because
Of course.
I tell them you're not looking for capital appreciation. All you're interested in is return. In 5 years, if that property pays itself back, what are you worried about? You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
cash. It's 100% profit after that. So
Indeed.
they get it now. Now they're starting to take a lot of interest in markets like this. So I've actually seen quite a bit of pent-up demand that we're trying to supply now.
So there is movement going on in the market right now.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Absolutely.
what's next in the Zul CEO world? Where are we? Where are you moving into the property empire?
Well, look, I need to really take advantage of what's happening in Cleveland, New Jersey. Interested in Florida. I'm making some little moves there. But me, you know, I'm one of those that are trying to build a small little cash portfolio. And Florida is a higher price point. And a lot of the people I engage with, they've got a small, you know, they've got a small budget.
What sort of price points can someone start with in Florida?
So if you go outskirts, then look, you're really talking about $120,000, really. You know what I
And
mean?
how far would that be from Disney World?
Yeah, just you can be within 45 minutes,
Wow,
probably. Yeah,
that's not that bad.
within an hour. Yeah,
It's not that bad. I mean,
yeah.
to
But then what
for
happens is, obviously, there's finance involved and things like that. You know what I mean? And I've kind of stayed away out of that market a little
and
bit.
what sort of returns are you be looking at in terms of Florida?
Florida, you're probably still looking. I mean, to be honest, I'm only just getting into that market now. But you can. Nice thing about Florida is you can tap into like the short-term market, and that's where you can make a good cap rate. You know, Airbnb, that kind of stuff. So
But
that's where
that market must have also been hit right now.
that's been hit, but it's starting to release a little bit. I mean, in Cleveland, what we've got is we've got a lot of medical industry, which, you know, obviously they want that kind of accommodation.
Of
So
course,
that, if you can cater for that, then it's still available. But places like, yeah, Disney and all that, obviously that's going to be on hold for a little while longer, yeah.
possibly a year, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
Um, so before we wrap up, Zul, you know, I do this with all my guests that come on here to share a bit of positive advice to all the viewers watching right now or who may watch later. There's a lot of, like I mentioned at the start, the negative sentiment, you know, people losing their jobs, people being made redundant, sort of, I wouldn't say the 2008 mirror image that we are seeing right now, but some sort of it. It's like a blur image that we are seeing in front of us. What sort of positive advice would you try to give them so that they can take that on board and move on with life and go and capture the moment and build an empire like yourself, the way you're doing it right now?
Yeah, it's a great question. Look, I really believe in positivity. I really believe in it because, you know, we can sit here and be upset with the world and be negative, but I'll let that car go past. ultimately, the only way you get forward in life, you're going to have testing times. You're going to go through tough times. And it's like that song, Billy Ocean, the tough get going when the going gets tough.
Of
And this
course.
is the time that you need to rethink, evaluate, look at situation. And rather than sit there depressed and crying, I think it's
Yep.
an opportunity. I see this as an opportunity because if 80-90% of the population is sitting around being negative, then you're part of the 10% that's going to make things happen and take some action and use
Of
this
course.
opportunity. I see it as an opportunity, so I see it slightly differently. And yeah, look, I really feel for people who've lost their jobs, this and that. But that's why I try to put out free content and advice and do things like this so that I can encourage people thinking, look, we're going to go through tough times, but if you can get through this, can you imagine when the
We can
good
get,
times come?
of course. That's what it's about, right? Get through the tough times so that when it comes to the good times, you enjoy the good times.
Absolutely. You can maximize
Absolutely. But thank you so
it.
much for coming on, Zol, and
Yeah.
sharing all the knowledge about what you've done in the property market, how you've achieved it, and how you make great investments for property investors around the world. And I wish you all the best
You
for
too.
the future. And I hope you build that property empire. We hear in the news, in the newspaper, that Zul CEO, the biggest property empire in the world.
Hey, I appreciate it. We need to get you over to Cleveland, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming
You're
on, Zul.
welcome. Take care, bro. Bye.
Take care. So that was Zul CEO, a property investor, a property deal sourcer up in the US, sourcing deals in New Jersey and Cleveland. I mean, did you just hear the returns that he mentioned? 20%. It's wow. Wow. I mean, which market pays 20% returns? It's absolutely amazing. But thank you so much to Zul for coming on here, sharing that knowledge. Thank you to all the viewers that tuned in. We'll be back again on Monday. Have an amazing weekend. I was going to say have a safe weekend. Have an amazing weekend, whatever you're doing, and enjoy. Take care, and we shall see you soon. Bye bye.